Hello, this is Bryan Tobiason with Keller Williams, and I wanted to talk to you about multiple offers today. Something that's really going on a lot lately, especially in our market the way it's been. Normally, the multiple offer thing starts to kind of tail off towards the end of March or April, but still going strong with a pretty healthy market, here towards the end of June. So, um, there's a common misconception with multiple offers that the highest price wins, and that's definitely not the case. Um, a lot of times that may be true, but it's definitely no hard and fast rule. Um, Sometimes the best to a seller may be one that has a longer closing date or a shorter closing date. Maybe the one that's best for the seller is the first one that came in. You really don't know what each seller is going to want to decide as their best offer. I have worked with some sellers that chose to work with the first offer that came in because they felt they were the quickest to the draw. So and it was a good offer. Normally when you're in a multiple offer situation, it's because the house hasn't been on the market very long, and when the house is fresh on the market and reasonably priced, you're going to get pretty close to what you're asking for, if not above, in certain circumstances. So it's kind of something to get out of your mind that it's not always going to be the best price that wins. Um, there's another part of this that a lot of people don't really understand or want to think about. But as an agent, when I'm presenting offers to my seller, I definitely will make comments about how the offer paperwork is filled out and presented. Is this an agent that doesn't know how to fill out a paper, fill out the contract properly? Because if they don't know how to fill out the contract properly, are they really going to be easy to work with going down the road? Are they going to understand the processes? Are they going to be advising their clients well? And I know that I'm not the only one that shares those things and concerns with my sellers. Other agents I talk to do as well. So you want to make sure you have an agent that knows how to fill out the paperwork. As silly as that sounds, it really is important. Um, and besides that, filling out the contract properly will give the seller all of the information they need to review your offer and understand where you're coming from. So if it's filled out properly, they will know what the closing date is. They will know if you are needing any closing costs. They will know what type of financing you are using. You know, they'll know all they need to know to make an informed decision. And the closing date, everyone, not everyone, a lot of people think faster is better, faster is better. If you can close it in 21 days, it's going to be perfect for my seller. Well, what about my elderly seller who's got, 30 years worth of stuff accumulated in this home? For them, it's definitely going to be a lot better for you to wait. Can they have 45 days? Can they have 60 days? Uh, Sometimes quicker is not always better. And you might want to move in 30 days and you're willing to pay $5,000 more than the guy who's waiting 60, but that seller is very happy to give up $5,000 to have an extra month to go through their stuff or to find a place to go. I mean, not all these sellers know exactly what they're going to be doing. So the closing date is an important component. And if you submit the quickest thinking that's the best, you might want to make sure your agent informs the seller that you're flexible if you can be. And closing costs. Closing costs are not a given. They're pretty common in our market. But if you're going above asking price to recoup your closing costs, we have a big issue when an appraisal might come back low, because now the only reason it didn't appraise is because you're asking the seller to pay costs that historically were paid by you, the buyer. Um, so that can be problematic, especially if you're already pushing toward the top end of the neighborhood. So keep that in mind. If you have the ability to pay your closing costs, it's going to put you in a position as a stronger buyer, because the seller's going to know that you have the financial wherewithal to not only cover your down payment, but to also cover your closing costs. And they're not going to have to worry that running down through the road, we might find something, that's a minor hiccup that ends up being a financial calamity because of your position. And financing type kind of portrays the same message to a point. Um, I'm a very big fan of the USDA Rural Development Loan. I like to help as many people with that loan as I can in Gardner and Spring Hill, and further south. Some people don't like it. They it's a zero down loan, so they almost look at it as though the buyer, is not in a position to buy a house. So if you're competing against people that are putting down, a lot more money on a conventional loan, you might lose out. But at the end of the day, you should really use the financing type that best suits you. But you need to realize, in a multiple offer situation, that may come into play. And your agent's reputation is a really big deal. There are very few, but there are some agents in our marketplace who don't have the best of reputations. Even some sellers know that these agents don't have the best of reputations. And if you're working with an agent that doesn't have a very good reputation, your offer is not going to get the same consideration as someone, who obviously has a better reputation. So, um, that's something that's hard for you as a buyer to understand from the beginning. But I mean, if you start working with someone and you get a bad feeling about it, or you start reading online reviews and figure out that this person's not on the up and up, you might want to cut your losses and work with a different agent, because when it comes time to present your offer, an agent's reputation is a really big component to that. So that's a quick little rundown on multiple offers and things to consider if you get in a multiple offer position, which is going to happen more and more, I have a feeling. So hopefully you'll find that helpful and be able to win your next multiple offer situation and get the house of your dreams. Thank you very much.